We're already her speech and language therapist, her educational psychology, her teacher, and we should just be her parents.
Natalie's daughter Erin hasn't attended school in more than a year. She says a broken education system is failing her daughter, who has additional needs.
She experienced quite a lot of anxiety and trauma around the school environment, which you can understand. Unfortunately, despite 2 years of advocating and fighting for assessments and for alternative placements to be considered, the authority have refused to give her alternative placement.
Natalie's now been forced to take legal action against Aberdeenshire Council to access a specialist school. But this could mean having to travel more than 100 miles if successful.
Because of the lack of specialist schools and the lack of support that exists up here, is to actually look at schools 2 to 3 hours away, and considering basically, living, going and living down there for the week and coming back home for weekends, splitting our family in that sense.
And she isn't alone. Across the country, the number of tribunals against local authorities over ASN provisions is rising, with those providing support seeing around a 40% increase in the amount of cases. A report earlier this year found that the Scottish Government had failed to plan for its inclusive approach in schools.
We're probably seeing slightly more than we would anticipate for the population size of the North East. We've got the large size of the geographical area, the availability of travel and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of issues within Aberdeen City and Aberdeenshire that need to be tackled.
Stephen's recently won his tribunal, which found his local authority guilty of breaching his son's human rights. Connor has focal cortical dysplasia, which can cause uncontrolled epilepsy, hypermobility and ADHD.
Connor is being treated through primary school as an inconvenience. I would say it's been just a complete unwilling to move to assist Connor and help him in any way.
Stephen says children like Connor are slipping through the cracks and that educational reforms are needed to help them thrive.
There was a couple of instances where he was given a fidget box and told to do that whilst the other children did harder maths work. All of these little comments to Connor really battered down his self-esteem.
An Aberdeenshire Council spokesperson said they have 9 complex needs provisions, covering 4 standalone schools and 5 integrated within mainstream schools, and that they have the resources and expertise to support children with additional and complex needs. The Scottish Government previously said it's invested an extra £28 million to provide more ASN support. For parents, they say a fundamental rethink is needed to stop any more children from suffering. Gráinne Ní Ghrian, ACB News.